past few years I've been seeing worrying patterns in games on Roblox that I like. Those patterns end up ruining the game as it becomes commercialized and money-centered. I believe that sadly Blackout is succumbing to that obvious pattern that Criminality went through. I believe that Blackout would be different than Criminality solely because of the different dev team behind it and their values, but I was wrong. I should have realized it the moment I found out the so-called Crim Killer's head developer was what appeared to be friends with RVVZ, aka Criminality's main dev, and the person to blame for the downfall of Crim. Let me open your eyes and show you the exact pattern that Criminality went through and how it killed all the fun left in the game. It all started with the creation of Streets games, where the game is basically a GTA lobby with the sole purpose of making money so it can be better at killing people. The concept sounds fun at first, but then you realize how the grindy cycle of every Street games makes it traumatizing to play for the first time. Let's say in the hood, you spawn with no money, so naturally you quickly start getting bullied by core blocks people that have thousands of hours into the game and can buy an infinite amount of the best guns while owning every game pass. Not to mention the hacker infestation in every Streets game on Roblox. Why people keep playing them beats me, but what I know is that to actually have fun playing such a game you need to have something wrong with you. Take Criminality for an example. At first the game was a fun light-hearted Roblox game made by RVVZ where you hang out with your friends and talk like some sort of virtual hangout, or maybe start killing people trying to do the same thing. As the veterans of the game would tell you, the game started to fall off after version 1.4, exactly when I joined. Seeing John Roblox play it made it look kinda fun, until you pick up your miserable trash loot and start getting thrown by the spec ops of Crim for daring to exist in their presence. The thing with both of these mentioned games is that the difficulty prompts you to buy in-game currency or game passes, or else you wouldn't have the same fun. In the hood you could buy permanent weapons or in-game currency, while in Criminality it was a bit more complex. In Crim you could also buy currency, however if you really wanted something to erase the competition with, you bought the Armory Game Pass. Mind you, the game back then was still paid access for around $2 or like 250 Robux. On top of the money you paid already, you had to buy a game pass to grant you half the weapons in the game, which by coincidence were arguably the better half of the weapons. I personally didn't buy it, but everyone else I knew bought it, and some of them even bought in-game money when they're starting. You can see how bypassing that hardcore experience with your wallet is scummy and a predatory marketing tactic, but thankfully around the fall of Crim, all armory weapons went free. If you had an insane amount of level, that is. Right about then, the first Blackout sneak peeks were spread, and there was hope in the Criminality players. Hope for a better game that did everything right this time. RVVZ tried to copy some of the things from the Blackout sneak peeks, such as weapon modification, which he did worse, and sliding, which he did worse. However, obviously he botched them and were shitty features in a shitty game. RVVZ's strategy changed around the time the free-to-play game mode Infection was released. It was of course cluttered with game passes and pay-to-win features, and of course he added the demise of Criminality: loot boxes. By themselves, loot boxes weren't that bad, as legendary games like TF2 have them, but what loot boxes basically convey to the player base is, give me your money, you little shit. Gambling in a game for kids is already bad enough, but on top of that, the chances of getting something good were abysmal, and not to mention the legendary skins which literally buff your weapon. It's safe to say that Criminality was dead to me and everybody I knew by then, so our only hope was another Streets game, which this time would make things right and would prioritize the game and players over predatory microtransactions, or at least they said so. To be fair, the devs didn't exactly say they wouldn't add loot boxes to the game, but they simply implied something entirely different. I'm gonna talk about this first because it's really my biggest issue with the update, and in my opinion it's the scariest addition to the game in terms of the game's future. Anyway, so the devs promised no Robux only skins, however they didn't mention anything about Robux or grind your ass off and complete achievements which give you a finite amount of game currency, with which you can only purchase so many cosmetics. They did say that in the future updates they'll make it so you can earn the currency through weeklies and other stuff, but come on, why was that kept for future updates? And why didn't they release it with the update? I'll tell you why. Because having only 800 votes worth of achievements for people to buy skins with forces those people to either miss out on the cool skins or pay with IRL money, which is very scummy. I'm not saying a gun is put to their head and they're literally forced to buy it with their own money, but I am saying that the average person wouldn't mind giving some money in exchange for cosmetics in a game. Or else, you know, miss out. The problem with all of these features isn't that they make the game unplayable, but in combination with Silver being friends with RVVZ, who ruined his game by focusing on predatory microtransactions, and the new predatory microtransactions that are being added. It makes it seem like RVVZ is creeping over Silver's shoulder, like, yeah, I now make the new currency finite, so people would have to spend their own money if they want to get more skins. The thing is that I'm seeing the same exact pattern that RVVZ did with Criminality. Make a game grindier so new players would have to pay their way into the game, even though it's already paid access, and then go full out with the new zombie mode that includes an insane amount of pay-to-win microtransactions. And then finally, the final step of the transformation to turning the game into commercialized microtransaction heaven slob will be to add skins and loot boxes as your main way of making profit. As I said, the microtransactions as of now aren't as bad as Crim, but I believe that if we just sit here and accept the pay 300 Robux to revive, then the game will have a downfall just like Crim did. Now that I'm done with all that microtransaction yapping, I want to talk a bit about the Eclipse game mode and how it should have came with more stuff over 8 months of development. As of now, the mode only has 1 map and 4 different difficulties. The reason to play the game mode is to either grind points to get the Blade Dancer kit in the Killzone mode, or if you're a free to play, just have fun and try to level up your classes, I guess. Which I'm sitting here and wondering, why is the only progression in this game mode class level, which does nothing but give a slightly higher tier weapons that you have already seen in Blackout. The grinding isn't really worth it, as the first 20 waves basically give you enough money to buy whatever you want to play the rest of the game with. And some weapons that you unlock literally being downgrades from lower tier weapons, like getting the sledgehammer after you get the katana as a brawler. Yeah, I play the game mainly as a brawler for a few games, and then some tactician, but brawler is the most fun out of them all. Weapons in the shop are kinda useless after the first 20 waves, as your perks give you a special weapon to play with. At least that's my experience with Brawler. Just quickly to put it into perspective, after around Act 2, as a Brawler you get the Rent Breaker and an ability called Berserk, where you go berserk, and that is the coolest part of this update. Out of all classes, Brawler is the most fun. There are also these Pack-a-Punch vending machines that upgrade your weapon, which is a pure stat buff and they don't add anything special to it. Another thing lacking is the progression during the game. Your goal is basically to grind out your character, and then go to the relay stations, which make you stand in a circle and kill enemies for a few waves, which then unlocks harder zombies and better perks. Yeah, that's all, and it's pretty boring after you do it 4 times. I don't think it was worth the wait in any shape or form. It's okay for a free to play game mode, I guess, but I was expecting a lot more than just Blackout gameplay. Also, did I mention how painfully slow it is to grind points? Let's say if you have a good team and play for around 2 hours, you can get halfway to leveling up your class. These same points right now can get you the Blade Dancer kit in the Killzone game mode for the cheap price of 1500 points, or let's say around 8 hours of playing Eclipse. This game is following the Criminality trend of, here's an update with cool stuff, but you gotta grind your ass off or else you won't play with it, which RVVZ used to do a lot. My TLDR of this video would be, loot boxes are about to kill Blackout, dog. And the Eclipse game mode is kinda boring, man. I know for a fact that the devs won't change a damn thing about the game no matter how much I complain. Unless literally everybody stops playing the game, which will never happen obviously. And that's because of the sheepish community around the game that just does what they tell him to. Silver will expand his microtransaction heaven while the people suck it up like good slop consumers. This streamer, in all of his hype about the update, even defended the loot boxes saying, well, they aren't as bad as Crim.
I know Silver is 3 inches deep in you, but predatory microtransactions are never good. I don't think... Oh, wait. No, I forgot my main point about why I don't really care about the skins. You can just buy them outright. Like, the weekly shop offers, like, a legendary skin you can just buy for, I think it's like 20 real-life dollars. You know how much money you guys have to spend to get, like, a Criminality legendary? You gotta spend, like... It could be any amount, really, because the odds are horrible.
Clearly being high off the update for the next week, after which he won't play the game for another 3 months. The community isn't really used to taking criticism, an example being Shallow Raycon getting a 7M mute for criticizing the update in general chat. Stated reason was rage bait, which is an insane thing to happen. I personally got banned by the exact same mod for replying to the message where he banned Shadow Raycon. I said something like, wow, people criticizing me, I should ban them, and I guess that really got to his head. Yeah, the server is an echo chamber and so is the whole community. I hope this video finds the right people so there will be a small chance of the game being set to the right path. But that won't happen. To continue my theory of Silver being RVVZ's out account, one of my friends got permabanned from the game for having an RVVZ avatar, aka an avatar looking like the IRL version of Roman Trotman, as he looks like in the leaked picture. I won't be surprised if this video gets traction and Mr. Trotman decides to get his goons to take this video down, which I'm sure they'll have no trouble with. You Jews.